There lived a young woman whose mother's last wish almost destroyed her life. She had everything going for her. A college degree. A promising career. A future that sparkled like gold in the sun. But on the night her mother drew her final breath, she whispered instruction that made absolutely no sense. Go to a stranger's house. Work as a nobody. Hide who you are. And never, never reveal that I am your mother. That dying wish was not a blessing. It was a trap. And she walked right into it. Before we dive into this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to stay updated. Trust me, you do not want to miss what happens next. The hospital room was small and suffocating. The smell of medicine hung heavy in the air like a thick blanket you could not shake off. Machines beeped in a rhythm that counted down her mother's remaining moments. Beep. 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 Each sound felt like a punch to the chest. Somtochi sat beside the bed, holding her mother's frail hand so tightly she was afraid she might break it. But she could not let go. She would not let go. Her mother, Neoma, had been sick for months, wasting away like a candle burning from both ends. But Somtochi refused to believe that death would win. She whispered prayers that seemed to bounce off the ceiling and fall back down, unanswered. Somto, her mother called weakly, her voice barely louder than a whisper. Somtochi leaned in close, so close she could feel her mother's shallow breath against her cheek. I am here, Mama. I am right here, she said softly, tears streaming down her face. Her mother reached beneath her pillow with trembling fingers and pulled out a small brown envelope. It was worn at the edges, like it had been handled 1,000 times. Like it carried a secret too heavy to hold but too important to let go. Take this, she said, pressing it into Somtochi's palm. Her grip was weak, but her eyes burned with an intensity that made Somtochi's heart skip. Mama, what is this? Somtochi asked, staring at the envelope like it might explode. Listen to me carefully, my daughter, Neoma said, her voice urgent despite its weakness. Go to Yumuk village. Find the house of Chief Okonkwo. Give this envelope to him and him alone. Do not open it. Do you hear me? Do not open it. Somtochi's confusion must have shown on her face because her mother gripped her hand with surprising strength. And most importantly, my child, she continued, her voice cracking, stay in that house until the time is right. Do not tell anyone that I am your mother. Hide who you are. Promise me, Somto. Promise me on my grave that you will do exactly as I have said. Your life depends on it. The words hit Somtochi like cold water. Mama, I do not understand, she whispered, her voice trembling. Who is Chief Okonkwo? What is in this envelope? Why must I hide who I am? But her mother only smiled. A sad, knowing smile that carried secrets too heavy for words. One day you will understand, my daughter, she said softly. One day you will thank me. But for now, just trust me. Trust your mother one last time. Somtochi nodded through her tears, her throat too tight to speak. I promise, Mama. I promise. Neoma closed her eyes. Her grip loosened. The machines screamed their terrible song. Nurses rushed in with urgent voices and quick hands. But Somtochi already knew. Her mother was gone. Leaving behind nothing but an envelope, an address, and a promise that would change her life forever. 2 weeks after the burial, when the mourners had returned to their lives and the house had grown quiet and unbearably lonely, Somtochi made a decision. She packed a single bag. She left behind her certificates, her professional clothes, her jewelry, everything that screamed success. She tied her hair back in a simple style, wore plain clothes that made her look like she had never seen the inside of a university, and boarded a bus to Yumuk village. The envelope was clutched against her chest like a sacred treasure she was terrified to lose. The journey took 6 hours. The bus rattled through dusty roads, past villages that time seemed to have forgotten. Children played in red dirt. Old women sat under trees selling fruits. Men pushed wheelbarrows loaded with firewood. The further they traveled, the more Somtochi felt like she was leaving her entire life behind. Finally, the bus stopped at a junction where a faded signboard read, "Welcome to Umilk." Somtochi stepped out into the afternoon sun, her heart heavy with uncertainty. She asked around for Chief Okonkwo's house. The villagers' faces changed when she mentioned the name. Some pointed silently. Others looked at her with curiosity. One old woman shook her head and said, "That house is not for ordinary people, my daughter." But Somtochi had made a promise. So she followed the directions up a winding road until she saw it. The compound sat on a hill like a king surveying his kingdom. The gates were tall and black. The walls were high and intimidating. It looked like the kind of place that swallowed people whole and never spit them back out. Somtochi stood before those gates for a long moment, gathering courage she did not feel. Her hand shook as she reached for the bell. A security guard appeared almost immediately. His name tag read Musa. He looked her up and down with suspicious eyes, like she was dead that had blown onto the property. "Who are you and what do you want?" he asked rudely. Somtochi straightened her shoulders. "My name is Somtochi. I am here to see Chief Okonkwo. I have a delivery for him." Musa laughed. It was a mocking sound that echoed in the quiet afternoon. "Chief does not see ordinary people," he said, waving his hand dismissively. "Come back another day. Or better yet, do not come back at all." He was about to close the gate when a deep voice called from within the compound. "Who is there, Musa?" Somtochi's breath caught. A man appeared behind the guard. He was tall and distinguished, with graying hair and eyes that seemed to pierce straight through to her soul. He wore simple clothes, but his presence commanded respect without effort. This had to be Chief Okonkwo. "I am Somtochi, sir," she said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "I was asked to deliver something to you." Chief Okonkwo studied her face for a long moment. Something flickered in his eyes. Recognition. Curiosity. Fear. She could not tell. Without a word, he gestured for her to enter. The compound was magnificent. Manicured gardens stretched in every direction. The main house stood like a palace, gleaming white in the sunlight. But Somtochi noticed none of it. Her focus was entirely on the man walking beside her in complete silence. They entered a study filled with books and expensive furniture. The air smelled of leather and old wood. Chief Okonkwo sat behind a large desk and extended his hand. "The envelope," he said simply. Somtochi handed it over, her hands trembling slightly. She watched as he opened it with fingers that shook. His face went pale as he read whatever was inside. For a moment, he seemed to age 10 years right before her eyes. His shoulders sagged. His jaw tightened. His eyes filled with something that looked like pain mixed with regret. Then he looked up at her with an expression she could not read. "Who sent you?" he asked quietly. Somtochi remembered her mother's instructions. "Do not tell anyone that I am your mother." "Someone who is no longer alive," she answered carefully. The room fell silent. The kind of silence that presses against your ears and makes your heartbeat sound like thunder. Then, to her complete shock, Chief Okonkwo said, "You will stay here. I will arrange for you to work in this house." "Sir?" Somtochi asked, confused. "You heard me," he replied, his voice leaving no room for argument. "Musa will show you to the workers' quarters. You start tomorrow." And just like that, Somtochi found herself living in the house of a man she did not know, following the instructions of a mother she could no longer ask questions. What was in that envelope? Why did Chief Okonkwo's face turn pale? And why did he want her to stay? The first month in Chief Okonkwo's house was nothing short of torture. And no, it was not because of the chief himself. He treated her with strange kindness, watching her with eyes that seemed to hold a secret he was not ready to share. The torture came from two women. His wife, Adogo, and their daughter, Isioma. These two looked at Somtochi like she was dirt beneath their expensive shoes. And they made absolutely sure she never forgot it. The workers' quarters were small. A single bed. A wooden wardrobe. A narrow window that looked out at the back of the house. It was not what her degree had prepared her for. It was not what her classmates imagined when they toasted to future success at graduation. But here she was, alone in a tiny room, holding her suitcase, wondering if obedience to a dying wish was bravery or just plain foolishness. The next morning, Somtochi woke up early. She tidied the house, swept the floors, and began preparing breakfast. She was determined to do her job well, to honor her mother's instructions, even if she did not understand them. That was when Esechi walked in. Adogo. The woman was beautiful, there was no denying that. But it was the kind of beauty that had been poisoned by years of bitterness. Her eyes were cold. Her smile was fake. And when she looked at Somtochi, it was like she was looking at contamination. "So you are the new girl," Adogo said, her voice dripping with disdain. She circled Somtochi like a predator studying prey. "Yes, Ma," Somtochi replied respectfully, keeping her eyes low. "Let me make something very clear to you," Adogo said, stepping closer. "You are a nobody. Do you understand? You are breathing the air in this house only because my husband allows it. Remember your place." Somtochi nodded silently, her heart pounding. But Adogo was not the worst. Oh no. The worst was yet to come. Her name was Isioma. 25 years old. Spoiled beyond reason. And cruel in ways that seemed almost creative. She walked into the kitchen that first morning like she owned not just the house, but the entire world. She looked at Somtochi with open contempt and smirked. "So this is what the agency sent us," she said to no one in particular. "She looks like she just fell off a village bus." The other kitchen staff looked away, afraid to react. Somtochi said nothing. She simply continued cooking, remembering her mother's words. "Stay in that house until the time is right." Days turned into weeks. And Isioma's cruelty became a daily ritual. She would deliberately spill drinks so Somtochi would have to clean them up. She would throw tantrums about her food, demanding that Somtochi cook again and again until her arms ached. She would mock her accent, her clothes, her very existence. Everyone in the house learned quickly. Isioma's anger was like a storm. If you met it head-on, you got soaked. If you ran, you slipped. And if you spoke back, you drowned. One afternoon, Somtochi prepared breakfast with extra care. She made sure everything was perfect. The eggs were fluffy. The toast was golden. The tea was hot but not too hot. She set the plate in front of Isioma with a polite smile. Isioma looked at the plate. Then she looked at Somtochi. Her nose wrinkled like she had just smelled something rotten. "What is this rubbish?" she asked loudly enough for everyone in the dining room to hear. "It is breakfast, Ma," Somtochi replied calmly. "Breakfast?" Isioma laughed cruelly. "This looks like something even the dogs would reject. Are you trying to poison us, you village girl?" The other staff members looked away. No one dared to intervene. But before Somtochi could respond, Isioma picked up the plate and threw the entire thing at her. Food splattered across Somtochi's face, dripping down her cheeks and onto her clothes. "I do not eat cheap-looking meals," Isioma said coldly. "Learn to serve food like you are serving a queen, not your village people. Now clean this mess and make me something edible." Somtochi stood there, her cheeks burning. Not from the food dripping down her face, but from the shame. From the humiliation. But she did not shout. She did not fight back. She simply bent down, picked up the plates, and began cleaning quietly. Inside, her heart was boiling with rage. But she remembered her promise. Stay in that house. Do not reveal who you are. So she swallowed her pride, wiped her face, and went back to the kitchen to cook again. A week later, during lunch, Somtochi served jollof rice. She had cooked it perfectly, the kind of jollof that makes your mouth water just from the smell. She placed the plate in front of Isioma carefully. Isioma looked at it and announced loudly, "What is this rubbish? This jollof rice looks like something my dog would reject. Are you trying to kill us?" The room went quiet. Everyone braced for another explosion. But this time, something inside Somtochi shifted. She had had enough. She looked directly at Isioma and said with the calmest voice imaginable, "I apologize, Ma. Perhaps your dog has better taste than I realized. I will make sure to consult him next time before I cook." The room went dead silent. One of the cooks turned away quickly, trying desperately not to laugh. Isioma's face turned bright red. Her mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. She looked like she was about to explode. But before she could respond, a voice came from the doorway. "Enough, Isioma." Everyone turned. Standing in the doorway was a man Somtochi had never seen before. He was tall, just like Chief Okonkwo. Handsome in a way that made you look twice. But his eyes were different. They were kind. "She is a worker in this house," the man said firmly, walking into the room. "Not your punching bag. Learn to treat people with respect." Isioma's face went from red to purple. "Tebena, you do not understand. She is." "I understand perfectly," Tebena interrupted. "You are being cruel for no reason." Again. Isioma stormed off, muttering angrily under her breath. Tebena turned to Somtochi with an apologetic smile. "I am sorry about my sister. She has always been difficult." "Sister?" So this was Chief Okonkwo's son. "It is all right, sir," Somtochi replied, her heart beating faster than she wanted to admit. "I have handled worse." Tebena tilted his head, studying her with curious eyes. "Something tells me you are not an ordinary houseworker," he said softly. "There is something different about you." Somtochi looked away quickly, her mother's warning echoing in her mind. "I am just trying to survive, sir." "Please," he said gently. "Call me Tebena. And if anyone gives you trouble again, come to me. I mean it." He smiled one more time before walking away, leaving Somtochi standing there with her heart racing and her mind spinning. From that day forward, something shifted in the house. Tebena became her silent protector. He would appear whenever Isioma's cruelty threatened to break her spirit. He would find excuses to talk to her, to ask about her day, to make her laugh when the weight of everything felt too heavy. He did not treat her like a maid. He treated her like a person. Like someone who mattered. And despite her best efforts to remain detached, despite her promise to stay hidden, Somtochi found herself falling for him. One smile at a time. One kind word at a time. One moment of protection at a time. But she knew it was dangerous. She knew it was impossible. He was the son of Chief Okonkwo. She was supposed to be just a maid. And she was hiding a secret she did not even fully understand herself. Still, her heart did not care about logic. It did not care about impossibilities. It simply beat faster every time he walked into the room. Isioma noticed the change too. She saw the way her brother looked at the maid. The way he defended her. The way he smiled at her. And her hatred doubled. Who did this girl think she was? Coming into their house. Making her brother act like a fool. acting like she was special when she was nothing but a common servant. Isioma made a silent vow. She would find out who this girl really was. And when she did, she would destroy her. For 3 weeks, Somtochi believed the worst was behind her. She had survived Isioma's cruelty. She had earned Chief Okonkwo's quiet respect. And she had found unexpected comfort in Tebena's presence. She even started to think that maybe, just maybe, things would be okay. But she was wrong. Dead wrong. Because on a night that would change everything, she discovered that the real danger had only just begun. Someone was haunting her. And they had her photograph. It was late evening. The house was quiet except for the distant sound of crickets outside. Somtochi was cleaning Chief Okonkwo's study, carefully dusting the shelves filled with old books and framed photographs. That was when she heard voices outside the window. At first, she thought nothing of it. Probably just Musa talking to one of the other guards. But something in the tone made her pause. Something urgent. Something dangerous. She moved closer to the window and peeked through the curtains. What she saw made her blood run cold. 2 men in dark clothes stood at the gate, talking to Musa. They were not from the village. Their clothes were too clean, too expensive. Their posture was too stiff, too alert. These were not ordinary men. One of them held up a photograph. Somtochi's heart stopped. Even from a distance, even in the dim light, she recognized it immediately. It was her. Not in her maid's clothes. Not with her hair tied back simply. It was a graduation photograph. The one where she wore her cap and gown, smiling proudly at the camera, standing in front of the university banner that screamed she was educated, successful, not a maid. How did they have that picture? Who were these men? And why were they looking for her? Her hands started shaking. Her breath came in short gasps. She did not wait to find out more. She ran. Down the hallway. Past the kitchen. Straight to her small room in the workers' quarters. She locked the door behind her and pressed her back against it, her heart pounding so hard she thought it might break through her chest. Questions flooded her mind like a dam had burst. Who sent those men? What did they want? Did they know where she was? Was she safe? Minutes felt like hours. Then came a knock on her door. Urgent. Insistent. Somtochi, it is me. Open the door. Tebena's voice. She hesitated for a second, then unlocked the door with trembling hands. Tebena stepped inside quickly and closed the door behind him. His face was pale with worry. 2 men came to the gate looking for you, he said, his voice low and urgent. They had your photograph. Not as a maid, Somtochi. Your graduation photograph. My father sent them away, but they will be back. I know they will. He stepped closer, his eyes searching hers. You need to tell me the truth, he said firmly but gently. Who are you really? And why are people hunting you? Somtochi's walls finally crumbled. The weight of carrying this secret alone had become too heavy. Tears filled her eyes as the words poured out. She told him everything. About her mother's death. About the strange dying wish. About the envelope she delivered to his father. About the instructions to hide her identity and never reveal that Neoma was her mother. She told him she had no idea why she was there or why men were hunting her. She told him she was scared, lost, and completely alone. Tebena listened without interrupting. When she finished, he did something unexpected. He took her hands in his. Whatever is happening, he said softly but firmly, I will protect you. I promise you that. You are not alone anymore. And in that moment, despite all the fear and uncertainty swirling around her, Somtochi believed him. The next morning, everything changed. Chief Okonkwo doubled the security at the gates. Strange cars were watched and reported. Guards patrolled the compound day and night. The entire house felt like a fortress preparing for war. But what troubled Somtochi most was Chief Okonkwo himself. He seemed more protective of her than made sense for a stranger. He would check on her throughout the day. Ask if she felt safe. Tell her not to leave the compound under any circumstances. Why would he care so much about a maid? Isioma noticed too. And her curiosity was dangerous. One evening, she cornered her mother in the sitting room. Why does Papa care so much about that girl? Isioma asked, her eyes narrowed with suspicion. She is just a common maid. Why all this security? Why all this protection? Adogo's face tightened. She had no answer. But the seed of suspicion had been planted. And it was growing roots. 3 nights later, at exactly 2:17 in the morning, the worst happened. Bang! 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 Gunshots exploded through the quiet night like thunder. The entire house woke up in panic. Somtochi jumped out of bed, her heart racing. Screams echoed through the hallways. Lights flooded the compound. Security men rushed toward the gates with weapons drawn. Isioma ran into her mother's room, shaking like a leaf. "Mommy, they are shooting at the gate. They are shooting." Adogo screamed, clutching her daughter. But Chief Okonkwo did not scream. He did not panic. He moved with the calm of a man who had been expecting this. He picked up his phone and made a single call. Within minutes, sirens wailed in the distance. Police vehicles surrounded the compound like a wall of protection. The attackers fled before the officers arrived, disappearing into the darkness like shadows. But the message was clear. This was not random. This was not a mistake. Someone wanted Somtochi. And they were willing to kill to get to her. Somtochi sat in her room, trembling from head to toe. She could feel it deep in her bones. The danger was close. Closer than ever before. This was all because of her. But she still did not know why. What had her mother gotten her into? What secret was buried in that envelope? And who was willing to kill for it? Then she remembered something. Her mother's phone. She had hidden it in her box months ago, too painful to look at after the funeral. She had never turned it on. Until now. With shaking hands, she pulled out the old phone and powered it on for the first time since her mother's death. The screen lit up. Message notifications flooded in like a wave. Old messages. Missed calls. Voicemails. She scrolled through them quickly, searching for anything that mentioned Chief Okonkwo. Anything that explained why her mother sent her here. Nothing. But then she saw it. A contact saved with a strange name, "Do not answer." Her finger hovered over it. Every instinct told her to leave it alone. But her need for answers was stronger than her fear. As if the universe was listening, the phone suddenly rang. The screen displayed, "Do not answer calling." Somtochi stared at it, frozen. Her mother had saved this contact with a warning. A clear warning. Do not answer. But how could she not? How could she ignore the one thing that might give her answers? The phone kept ringing. Each ring felt louder than the last. Finally, she pressed the green button and lifted the phone to her ear. Silence. "Hello," she said quietly. More silence. But not empty silence. Someone was there. She could hear breathing on the other end. "Hello," she said again, her voice shaking. Then, a voice. Male. Cold. Controlled. "So you finally turned on the phone." "I have been waiting." Somtochi's blood froze. "Who are you?" A dry laugh. "Someone who knows exactly who you are, Somtochi. And I know what your mother stole from me." "My mother did not steal anything," Somtochi said, her voice rising with emotion. Did she not? The voice replied calmly. Then why did she run? Why did she hide you? Why did she send you to that house like a pawn on a chessboard? Somtochi's mind raced. I do not know what you are talking about. Leave me alone. I cannot do that, the voice said, colder now. Your mother took something that belonged to me. And since she is dead, you will pay the debt. What debt? What are you talking about? But the line went dead. Somtochi stared at the phone, her hands shaking violently. Her heart pounded in her chest like a drum. Whoever that was, they knew her mother. They knew her. And they wanted something she did not even know existed. She sat there in the darkness of her small room, clutching the phone, tears streaming down her face. Her mother had not just left her a mysterious dying wish. She had left her in the middle of a war she did not know existed. A war with enemies she could not see. A war where she was the target. And the terrifying part. She had no idea why. But she was about to find out. And the truth would shatter everything she thought she knew about her mother, her life, and herself. The trap was closing. And there was nowhere left to run. The truth did not arrive gently. It did not knock politely and wait to be invited in. It crashed through the door like a storm, tearing down every wall Somtochi had built, destroying every belief she held, and exposing secrets that should have stayed buried forever. Her mother was not the saint she thought. Her father was not who she imagined. And the trap she had walked into was far more complicated, far more painful, than she could have ever prepared for. This is the moment everything changed. Forever. 3 days after the mysterious phone call, Somtochi was summoned to Chief Okonkwo's study. Her stomach twisted with anxiety as she walked down the hallway. Something big was about to happen. She could feel it in the air, heavy and suffocating. When she entered the study, she froze. Chief Okonkwo sat behind his desk with his head in his hands. He looked older than she had ever seen him. Broken. Defeated. But he was not alone. Beside him stood a man Somtochi had never seen before. He was in his 50s, with a face that looked strangely familiar. Like she should know him but could not place where from. Sit down, child, Chief Okonkwo said wearily, gesturing to the chair across from him. Somtochi sat slowly, her heart pounding. The stranger stepped forward. My name is Maleki, he said softly. I am your mother's elder brother. Your uncle. The words hit her like a slap. My mother never mentioned any brother, Somtochi said, her voice barely above a whisper. Maleki smiled sadly. She had her reasons. Just as she had her reasons for sending you here. Maleki pulled up a chair and sat across from her. His eyes were kind but filled with pain. Your mother, Neoma, and Chief Okonkwo were business partners 20 years ago, he began. They ran a pharmaceutical company together. It was successful. Very successful. They made a lot of money. Somtochi glanced at Chief Okonkwo, who still could not meet her eyes. But your mother discovered something terrible, Maleki continued. Chief Okonkwo was cutting corners. He was manufacturing fake drugs. Cheap imitations that looked real but had no actual medicine in them. And he was selling them to hospitals, clinics, pharmacies. Somtochi's eyes widened in horror. People died, Maleki said quietly. Children. Pregnant women. Old people who trusted that their medicine would save them. They died because of those fake drugs. Somtochi turned to Chief Okonkwo, her voice shaking with anger. You killed people. Chief Okonkwo finally looked up, tears streaming down his face. I did not mean for anyone to die. I just wanted more profit. I thought no one would notice. But my mother noticed, Somtochi said, her voice cold. Yes, Maleki confirmed. Your mother collected evidence. documents, receipts, witness statements. She threatened to expose him, to turn him into the authorities. So what happened? Somtochi demanded. Malechi's face darkened. Chief Okonkwo destroyed her first. He used his connections to blacklist her from every business circle. He spread rumors that SHE was the one manufacturing fake drugs. He destroyed her reputation, her business, her entire life. She was left with nothing. So she ran. She went into hiding. And she spent years rebuilding her life in secret, always afraid he would come after her. Somtochi felt sick. Her mother had suffered so much, carried so much pain. And she never said a word. So she sent me here for revenge. Somtochi whispered, her heart breaking. No, child, a voice said. Chief Okonkwo. Chief Okonkwo stood up slowly, his legs shaking. He walked around the desk and knelt in front of Somtochi. She sent you here, he said, his voice cracking with emotion, because you are my daughter. The room spun. Somtochi gripped the armrest of her chair, unable to breathe. What did you say? Your mother and I, Chief Okonkwo continued, tears pouring down his face, we loved each other once. Before the business. Before the greed. Before everything went wrong. We were in love. Somtochi shook her head, refusing to believe it. No. No, that is not possible. When your mother discovered she was pregnant with you, he continued, she was already planning to expose me. She was torn between her love for me and her need for justice. In the end, she chose justice. She disappeared before I even knew you existed. I spent years searching for her, he said, his voice breaking. Years searching for you. I hired investigators. I followed every lead. But she hid well. She changed her name. Moved constantly. I thought I would never find you. The envelope, Somtochi managed to say through her shock. What was in it? Chief Okonkwo reached into his desk and pulled out a piece of paper. He handed it to her with shaking hands. It was a DNA test. Proof that Chief Okonkwo was her biological father. Beneath it was a letter in her mother's handwriting. Okonkwo, this is your daughter. The one you never knew existed. I am dying, and I cannot take this secret to my grave. She deserves to know her father. She deserves the inheritance you owe her. She deserves the truth. I have sent her to you. Protect her. Love her. Give her the life I could not. Somtochi stared at the letter, her vision blurred by tears. So her dying wish was not about protecting me, she whispered. It was about giving me to you. Like I was a package to be delivered. She loved you, Maliki said gently. In her own complicated way, she loved you. She wanted you to have everything she could not give you. A father. A family. An inheritance. But Somtochi was not listening anymore. She stood up abruptly, knocking the chair backward. She used me, Somtochi said, her voice rising with emotion. She manipulated me. She made me promise on her deathbed, knowing I would never break that promise. She sent me here without explaining anything, without giving me a choice. She looked at Chief Okonkwo with anger and pain. And you? You destroyed her life. You killed innocent people. And now I am supposed to just accept you as my father. Before anyone could respond, she ran out of the study, out of the house, and into the garden. She collapsed beneath a large mango tree, sobbing like she had never sobbed before. Everything she thought she knew was a lie. Her mother's love. Her own identity. Her entire life. She did not know how long she sat there before Tebene found her. He did not say anything at first. He just sat beside her in the grass, close but not touching, letting her cry until she had no tears left. Finally, when her sobs had quieted to shaky breaths, she spoke. Did you know? She asked, her voice raw. I suspected, Tebena admitted quietly. My father kept a photograph in his study for years. A baby girl with her mother. He never explained it, but I always knew it meant something important to him. Somtochi laughed bitterly. So when you defended me, when you were kind to me, was it because you knew I was your sister? Tebena turned to face her fully, his eyes intense. You are not my sister, he said firmly. We do not share the same mother. Legally, biologically, we are not siblings. And even if we were, it would not change how I feel about you. Somtochi looked at him, confused. I did not fall for you because of who your father is, Tebena said softly. I fell for you because of who you are. Your strength. Your dignity. The way you endured cruelty with grace. The way you smiled even when everything was falling apart. I fell for the person you are, not the name you carry. Somtochi's breath caught. Tebena. I know this is complicated, he said, taking her hand gently. I know everything is a mess right now. But I meant what I said. I will protect you. I will stand by you. No matter what. And despite everything, despite the lies and the pain and the betrayal, Somtochi smiled. A small, fragile smile. But real. Over the next few days, Somtochi did a lot of thinking. She realized something important. She could not control what her mother did. She could not change her father's past. But she could control what happened next. She made a decision. She would not let her mother's manipulation or her father's crimes define her future. She called a meeting with Chief Okonkwo, Tebena, and Maleki. When they gathered in the study, she stood before them with her shoulders back and her head high. I have conditions, she said firmly. Chief Okonkwo nodded. Anything. First, Somtochi said, you will confess everything to the authorities. Every crime. Every fake drug. Every person who died because of your greed. Chief Okonkwo's face went pale, but he nodded. Second, she continued, you will use your money to compensate the families of the victims. Every single one you can find. Yes, he whispered. Third, Somtochi said, her voice softening slightly, you will spend whatever time you have left making things right. Not for me. Not for my mother. But because it is the right thing to do. Chief Okonkwo stood and walked to her. He knelt before her, just like he had days before, but this time with humility, not desperation. I will do everything you ask, he said. I know I do not deserve your forgiveness. But I will spend the rest of my life trying to earn it. In the weeks that followed, Chief Okonkwo kept his promise. He turned himself into the authorities. He faced trial for the deaths caused by his fake drugs. He used his wealth to compensate victims' families. The news spread like wildfire. The powerful Chief Okonkwo, brought down by his own daughter's demand for justice. Isioma was stunned into silence. The maid she had tormented, humiliated, and mocked was her father's daughter. Her sister. One evening, Isioma found Somtochi in the garden. She stood there awkwardly, struggling with words. I was cruel to you, Isioma finally said, her voice small. I do not deserve your forgiveness. But I am sorry. Truly sorry. Somtochi looked at her for a long moment. Cruelty teaches us who we do not want to become. I hope it taught you something. Isioma nodded, tears in her eyes. Even Adogo, who had treated Somtochi like dirt, was forced to accept the truth. She did not embrace Somtochi with love, but she acknowledged her with respect. And that was enough. Months later, Somtochi sat on the veranda with Tebena, watching the sun set over the hills. Do you regret it? Tebena asked quietly. Obeying your mother's dying wish. Somtochi thought for a long moment. It was a trap, she said softly. A trap wrapped in love, tied with desperation, and sealed with secrets. She paused, watching the sky turn orange and pink. But sometimes, she continued, the traps we fall into lead us exactly where we need to be. I found my father. I found justice for the people he hurt. I found my own strength. And I found you. Tobena smiled and took her hand. Then maybe it was not a trap at all. Maybe it was destiny with a very complicated sense of humor. Somtochi laughed. A real, genuine laugh that echoed across the compound. For the first time in months, she felt free. Because she learned something that changed her forever. Obedience without understanding can be dangerous. But truth, no matter how painful, will always set you free. Your parents' sins do not define you. Their choices do not have to become your choices. And sometimes, the mother who seems to betray you is actually leading you home. Not to a place, but to yourself. She obeyed her mother's dying wish, not knowing it was a trap. But in the end, the trap became her freedom. The lie became her truth. And the daughter who was used as a pawn became the one who changed everything. Power is not loud. Strength does not scream. And dignity cannot be stolen. It can only be given away. Somtochi never gave hers away. And that made all the difference.